are 7 hours, 10 minutes airborne already, but we still have another 10 hours and 50 minutes until the expected landing time.
Well, you say it's been going well, but you had been expecting a few problems. There was even some talk about whether the flight would actually be able to go ahead.
Well, we have always plan B, but we never had problems on this flight to go. I don't know.
But it's nevertheless a very complicated flight.
It will be at the end. For time being, it's just a factor of long flight, and we had some changes because André had some turbulence. We thought level 12,000 feet, then 14,000 feet would be sufficient. But you know, the New Mexico with a sunny day and high mountains, so the thermics went very high, and now he's flying at flight level 200, which is 20,000 feet. And he will continue the climb in about 2 hours from now to the maximum altitude we are allowed in USA, which is 27,000 feet, flight level 270.
Now, at every flight there is a so-called point of no return. That's when you decide at this point it's better for him to find another landing strip if there's a problem, rather than coming back to Phoenix, which was the starting point of this flight. So when was the point of no return reached?
About 1 hour ago.
And where was that?
It was south of Albuquerque, and presently we are on course to Roswell, the famous Stratos mission from Red Bull, and we'll be there in 1 hour. I think people in Roswell, they can see the plane in about 1 hour from now.
Yeah, if you're in the area, this is one of the great places where you can get a good visual contact of Solar Impulse. Don't forget to take photos, send them to us via Flickr or Instagram, and we will do our best to get them onto the site. So into New Mexico now. The other thing that is important is that each state has a different time zone. So I know you work from, well, you call it Zulo in the aviation industry, but it's UTC or GMT. And do you find it difficult to get your heads around to remember all the different time zones, or do you have loads of clocks written over there? You go, you've got a big document here with different time zones written on it. No,
here it's only in Zulu, but my countdown, for example, I have the three different times. I have Phoenix time, I have GMT, Zulu time, and I have Swiss time. And I should have Dallas time because it's another, so we have 4 different times.
Central Daylight Time in Dallas.
Central Daylight, okay. And so my first countdown also, I did an error for the arrival because I forgot to change towards Dallas. But now it's done, and the reason why we use GMT or Zulu time is obvious, because otherwise it's not possible. So all clocks in all cockpits, they are in Zulu, worldwide.
Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? And André's health is good. He's happy. He's enjoying it.
He's very, very good, very happy. I just heard a few minutes ago that he said, "Well, there is a plane going to do a 360 around me." So I don't know if it's our chase plane with our passengers on board, the ground crew and everybody from Solar Impulse. I don't know, but I just heard André explaining that an aircraft will do a circle around him, but of course at a good distance and maybe also an altitude separation.
Well, I hope that that airplane will get some good pictures, because we've had some really stunning pictures from the airplane so far, some really lovely views. And you can watch these videos on solarimpulse.com. We've got a whole host of them right back to the beginning of this mission and also last year's mission. So this is going to be a long flight. We've already said that we're hoping that the distance record will be broken during this leg.
Yes, I think if we go to Dallas, the distance will be done. We will have it for sure. I think now, as we have passed the point of non-return, there is almost no other options. Just interesting about the batteries. You know, we started with full batteries. The plane was solar charged the days before in Phoenix, and then in the morning when we took off at 4:45 about. Batteries were full, and we used power from the batteries until sunrise. But at sunrise, you don't recharge sufficient to be, as we say, energy neutral. you still continue to discharge the batteries because you use more power than you receive from the sun. And then we have a moment where you are energy neutral, and then you gain energy. And so the batteries, they went down to 40% of the capacity, and now they are already full again.
And we can see that on solarimpulse.com. If you scroll down, if you're watching this video on solarimpulse.com, you'll see the indicators, the airspeed, 25 knots, heading 184 degrees, and altitude now 20,699 feet. And as Raymond said, he's not at his maximum altitude yet. The plane will continue to climb.
Yeah, in 2 hours, we'll start the climb, and we'll be after 1 hour, we'll be at flight level 270. We'll stay there for 1 hour, and then we will start the descent towards Dallas. And this is another story. It will be a very interesting descent with different steps, and the arrival in Dallas, it will be very interesting for our team here in the MCC, but also for André.
We did have some questions regarding, we had lots of questions coming in. People are fascinated by Solar Impulse, and we have been doing our best to answer as many of them as we can on Instant Chat or in Twitter. But it was to do with André, how he deals.
Good compromise, and myself, I would prefer to be too warm than too cold, because cold at high altitude is difficult. So I would, if I would be the pilot, I would go for warmer clothing. Yeah.
Another question was, why the silver foil in the cockpit?
This is to protect from the heat of the sun. During the morning, he's facing the sun, and then it's because he has good clothes to protect him from the cold in the evening. He is sweating.
Well, it's a very long flight as well. They can be in the cockpit for over 20 hours. Another question that comes up regularly is, well, how they relieve themselves on these flights. And we've put together a video which we think will explain.
I think Brian is, yeah.
How can it travel through the night? How will they fly around the world? And how do they go to the toilet? The answer?
I was thirsty, I had a bottle of water, and I realised they could drink from the bottle and then fill the bottle, and that was it really. So I think that was 10 years well spent.
Question up. We've got more questions to answer. We're going to be speaking to Niklaus from Air Traffic Control Division of the Solar Impulse Mission Control Team, and that will be coming up at 9:30 Central European Time, local time, so around about 18 minutes time, and rejoin us with Solar Impulse TV. We are, of course, broadcasting non-stop right through until the landing, so we're going to leave you now with some images of Mission Control and André Borschberg in the cockpit of Solar Impulse.
Yeah, possible. It goes up and down. There's like waves, huh?
Yeah, we are just about to send you two satellite pictures. It's interesting. It seems like most of the clouds are at the border between New Mexico and Mexico. So it should be south of Roswell a little bit.
They could be.
Yeah.